Hi folks, Marie here for some real talk with coffee. So it's actually been interesting. This is my fifth try at this with various technical restarts. So I'm excited to be here for real talk with coffee, finally, to talk about deep work, which feels like the opposite of what I was doing with the tech starts. So this idea of deep focused work, I've encountered it in various places, studying creative work and studying how people think and how people learn. But one of the most recent places I've read about it is this book, Deep Work by Cal Newport. Super interesting book. There's a lot of problems with it, not the least being that basically all of his examples of people doing good deep work are men, which is because women are doing all the other things that have to happen. So, fundamental problem there. But he does bring up a really good point, which is this idea of being in deep, focused work really is a skill that we need to practice. And what I appreciate about this idea is whether you're a writer or whether you are a teacher or whether you even get invested in organizing things or project management, whatever you do for work or for creativity, there's probably an element of what you're doing that requires you to be focused on it and be intent on it and kind of focus on one thing for an extended period of time. And if you can do that, if you can be focused and concentrate for an extended period of time, you can produce more interesting work or more high quality work, whatever you want to call it. It's better with that long, intense, focused concentration rather than having our work and our creative lives split up into little teeny chunks here and there. So I appreciate I think that is true. I think it's true for many of us. And when we can carve out time to do deep work, our work lives or our creative lives are enhanced. But I also think it's important to think about this concept of deep focus and intent, being present and really involved and in flow with something. I find it helpful to think about it with parenting too. And the way I find it helpful is this. Cal Newport argues that deep work is something we have to learn how to do. It doesn't come naturally to us. There's a whole bunch of reasons for this. But I think that that's helpful because a lot of us, I think, get mad at ourselves if we can't concentrate long enough or that we get distracted by a text or distracted by email or whatever it is. I think the same is true with parenting. I find that being with my kids for an extended period of time and really being in it with them, I'm currently out of practice with that. And some of that's because they've been playing more independently, and some of that's because a few weeks ago I was working a little bit more than normal, and now I'm back to kind of a more regular schedule. So there's this idea that being with my kids and being focused on that and not getting distracted easily is something I need to practice in order to do it well or do it enjoyably. And I'm not saying we all should be spending hours and hours and hours of time only paying attention to our kids because I think that's not realistic. We're going to have time with our kids where we're really present with them, and we're going to have time with our kids where we're keeping them safe-ish, but we're also doing the other things of life that have to get done. However, I'm finding myself out of practice with just being with my kids. After about 3 minutes, I am bored, distracted, flighty, want to do other things. And I'm realizing that that's not a personal failing, but I want to get back into the practice of being parenting and seeing parenting in that moment for the times I have it to really being in it. And so I just want to share that today, this idea that first of all, I really believe that if you don't super enjoy playing with your kids, that doesn't make you a bad mom or a bad parent. I believe that because otherwise I must be the worst parent in the world because I often don't enjoy playing with my kids. I really didn't when they were little. I was really bored by it. And for a while I felt a lot of shame around that, less so now. But I just want to say that I think that if you're having trouble or if that sort of concentration piece that we maybe bring to our creative work or our work lives, I think we can bring that same concentration to being a parent and being present with our kids when we're really able to do that. And doing that takes practice to make it feel more natural, to make it come more easily. And so if you are feeling like it's not coming easily, doesn't mean you're broken. It probably just means you need to practice a little bit more or do that practice more intentionally. So cheers to having deep work time and deep focus time with kids and with work. I think we need both in our lives. We need to be enriched creatively and to be parents, and we can do both. So that's my thought for some real talk with coffee. And I'm off to try and do some deep work, even though it's a Friday, which is usually my least good deep work day, but I am determined to spend 45 minutes today actually just focused on one single project that has been sitting around for way too long. So cheers, I'll let you know how it goes. Have a great day.